I think my first experience with computer science, hearing about the subject, even hearing computer science, was maybe beginning of college. I was speaking with a friend of mine who was a computer science major, and he was explaining to me sort of what he was doing in his class. We were studying together. And I remember thinking, computer science, wow, that sounds really cool, but am I up for it? Am I capable? What does this entail? And so I asked him, and I said to him, wow, computer science, how's that? What are you doing? How do you become a computer scientist? What's going on inside of your brain, basically? And his response was, "Yeah, I just get it. Something just clicks and it's natural for me. I don't have to work very hard at it. I just understand." And I thought, because I did not have any prior experience, I had not touched the subject matter at that point. I thought, well, if he just gets it and this is natural to him, then I would have known by now if it were natural to me. I would have already known that I had this skill or this talent. Little did I know, just by showing an active interest and going on to, Code Academy was the first place I started. I started with my first HTML, CSS, Bootstrap tutorial, and I loved it. I loved seeing the dynamic window. You see what you're making as you code it. So each line of code translated into something directly visible, and it felt very tangible. After that, I wanted to do more. I wanted to see what else I could do with this new language that I learned. So I continued on into web design and web development. I spoke with my professors in design and really tried to carve out a track for myself that would allow me to grow in this new and curious way without really knowing the result or the end point. I just was following my instinct and it felt really good. And with a crazily intense passion and curiosity, I picked up another interactive coding tutorial online, and really started exploring more of the back-end features of web development, and started working a little bit with Python and a little bit with Ruby, just enough to sort of understand how these frameworks function and why they're used and why it's so popular. It was at that point that I took my first step into the computer science department, and I remember now, even to this day, I spend probably 95% of my time in the computer science labs studying. I'm a TA now, and I meet with my professors quite often. And I remember the first time I walked into the computer science lab, and I was walking through the main hallway, and I remember looking into the labs, and they're very small labs, and everyone is sitting in front of their computer just going away at it, right? And I did not know if I should talk, if I should say something, if they were, really deep into the vortex, or any of those other stereotypes people think before they actually start coding and programming and learning what is actually happening. So I remember walking through the halls, and actually a professor stopped me. His name was Alark Joshi, and he saw that I felt out of place, and he recommended that I start with a intro to computer science course called Mobile Apps and Programming. And in that course, we were able to design our own app. So I took that course with him, and he was really the one who kind of told me more about CS and more about what I can do after this course, and really sort of cared for my success in the class as well as outside of the class. And I think back, I don't know what I would have thought, or where where I would have wandered after that initial after my initial curiosity in the CS hall, where I would have, ended up if I hadn't ran into him and I hadn't talked to someone and he hadn't been so friendly and personal with me and convinced me to sit in on his course and then eventually to become a minor. And that was about a year and a half ago. Now I am working towards finishing my CS minor, and I have taken 2 entry-level courses to CS, and I'm completing my 3rd sort of entry-level course right now. We're working with Java, and I am also a TA for one of the other entry-level CS courses, and I am on the board of Women Who Code here at USF. Hopefully we will be bigger and better this year. We have so many women in the CS department, so many prospective CS majors and minors just floating out there around campus, unsure, still a business or, psychology major, but we'll get them, we'll convert them. So that is really how it all began for me. And it's really great because USF is such a small school. I still get to see Professor Joshi, who introduced me to computer science my junior year. I still see a lot of the professors who really influenced and impacted me and guided me as I was deciding how, as a junior, I've already completed 3 years. How am I going to pursue this now that I've realized and now that my eyes have been opened to something that's so much more than what I thought it could be? And how can I become a software engineer this late? I said this late, and I realized that I need to embrace this late beginning, because I really, really do think that where I am now is part of a larger chain of things that have occurred and things that I've learned and where I've been and my experiences, and it all sort of accumulates to one. And by virtue of having a design background, I think that I'm able to make better decisions when I am writing my programs. I'm able to sort of think of it from a design research and design thinking standpoint, seeing the bigger picture, which has really helped me a lot because I can almost try to see the final product as I'm going and visualize in my mind how things are going to look, or how things are going to feel, or how people are going to react with my program or my product. And that's been really helpful. And now I am almost ready to graduate. I will be graduating in December, and I will be very, 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 very pleased and also enthusiastic about my next steps, as I am right now. I just know that this semester is going to be full of a lot of new experiences, a lot of growth, and hopefully a few cool projects that I can add to my repertoire. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to enroll and work with Hackbright this upcoming January. I admire the women who have graduated, and I admire the women who are leading in this industry, and I admire Hackbright for really spending the time and the energy and building this community of women who feel confident at any stage, whether that be at the beginning of their career, like myself, or mid-career, or women who realize that computer science is where they want to be, and are searching for those opportunities to grow and become leaders in the industry. And so this is my introduction, my video introduction, and I've already said too much. I've talked more than I anticipated, but once the ball starts rolling, It's hard to reel it back in, but yes. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you virtually, and hopefully we will be meeting in person very soon. Bye-bye.